What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the truth about mixing and mastering your beats. So I've been getting a lot of requests recently to do more videos on mixing and mastering your beats, and I get it. It's one of those things that we all want to, get really good at and relatively quickly. The problem with mixing, however, is that it's kind of like this hybrid between art and science, and it's that art half that makes it really difficult to teach because art, and art of all kinds, not just music, is subjective, meaning that everybody is going to perceive it differently because everybody has a different perception, a different bias, and ultimately a different preference. So for me to tell you that there's only one way to mix your beats or even make your beats would be completely naive. What I can help you with, however, is that science part. I can teach you about the tools and the techniques and ultimately how I use those tools and techniques to get desired results. But as far as that art half goes, the best thing that I can tell you is take the knowledge that I'm giving you and the knowledge that you're gonna learn from whoever else, and then just apply it every day. Don't be afraid to experiment, and don't be afraid to put out bad mixes or even bad beats for that matter, because that is essentially how growth happens. You're going to create and put out, and what's gonna happen eventually over time, hopefully you'll see this upward trend, and that is exactly how progression works. Nonetheless, I still wanna help you guys kind of decipher this whole concept of mixing and mastering, because if you were like me starting out, it was a very difficult concept to wrap my head around. Now, the reason for this video is because, as most of you know, I work here out of my studio, and although predominantly I am a producer, a lot of times I get work from clients, from artists who want me to mix their songs. The problem, however, is that a lot of times the beats that these artists are purchasing from producers, and ultimately the ones that engineers like myself get to mix, are pre-mixed MP3s and WAV single files. Now, this is a result of the beat leasing industry, which I 100% support. However, these beats are not properly optimized, so it makes it really difficult for an engineer to record vocals on top of that, much less, try to mix a record out of it. So the goal of this video is to help you guys so you don't make those mistakes, so your clients, the artists, are happy, their engineers are happy, and everybody's happy. Okay, so to get started, I wanna really quickly just go over the recording process. Now, this is an oversimplified version, but essentially you have recording, mixing, and mastering. Recording is where you capture the audio, mixing is where you kind of just blend everything and make it sound good, and then mastering is where you polish the record and raise the volume. Now, a key thing to note here and to remember, not just for this video, but forever, is that the goal is not to make a beat, but rather to make a song. Let me say that again. The goal is not to make a beat, but rather to make a song. Now, this holds true even if you just want to be a bedroom producer selling your beats online, because yes, although you might just be making the beat, that beat is going to be purchased by an artist who intends to make the song. So as a producer, your job is to make sure that these beats are properly optimized so the artist and the engineer can do their job. Now, traditionally what happened was, as a producer, we would make our beat, we would shop it to artists. Whenever they purchased it, we would send them the track outs, the wave stems. They would send those to their engineer, who would record them and then mix everything together, the vocals and the beat files. He would then take that final mix, send it over to a mastering engineer where he would polish it, raise the volume, and send it off for distribution. Now, notice here how the final mix didn't happen until that beat was out of your hands and later on down the stream. Nonetheless, it is still super important for us producers to learn how to mix our beats, because that is how you shop the beat to begin with. That is how you show the artist how the beat could potentially sound like at the end. Now, this skill of learning how to mix your beats only became more emphasized and even more important with the rise of the beat leasing industry, because producers started to sell or license pre-mixed MP3s and waves. Now, if we take a look at like the basic pricing structure of anybody who's selling their beats online, essentially you have a bunch of different levels. You have the MP3 level, the wave level, the track out level, and the exclusive rights. Now, in this business model, you still have the option to sell the track outs. Artists can still do that, but a lot of times artists gravitate more towards the MP3 or wave levels because they're more affordable and more available. The problem with this, however, is that whenever they purchase a beat from you, they are essentially purchasing a pre-mixed MP3 or wave, meaning that whenever they send that to their engineer has less, maybe even no control over the actual dynamics and individual sounds of the beat. What this ultimately means, however, is that now the burden and the pressure of properly mixing a beat falls on you, the producer. So although now you are solely responsible for making sure this beat is mixed properly, you are not, and I repeat, you are not responsible for mastering it. Now, as we agreed earlier, mastering is the very last step in the recording process, and this only happens whenever the vocals are recorded. Now, this is where a lot of producers go wrong, because what ends up happening is that they mix their beat and then they take a limiter, put it on their master bus, crank it all the way up, export their beat, and that is essentially what they end up selling to artists. Now, the result is that the artist goes and they purchase this beat. Now, they don't know any better, so they take this beat, they give it to their engineers, and what we ultimately end up getting is this really loud beat. The waveform almost resembles like this really fat sausage. Pause. Now, this is no good because this leaves no room for us to mix anything to it, much less try to record anything to it. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, well, then what the heck do I do? I still want my beat to be loud because I want to put it up on, BeatStars or Airbit or SoundCloud to showcase to artists what it could potentially sound like. My advice would be to make two versions of your beat. One is going to be the mixed version with enough headroom. This is the one you're going to sell to artists because this ultimately allows engineers to have enough room to record the vocals and mix the record. Then you're going to print another one. This is going to be your mastered version that has the limiter and your tags, and it's going to be loud and nice, and this is the one you're going to upload to, BeatStars or Airbit or SoundCloud. Now, if this is sounding all way too confusing for you, then don't worry, because if this video was theory, next week is application. I'm going to take an actual beat of mine and I'm going to show you the exact steps that I take to prepare the beat to upload to the internet. But with that being said, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, if it was helpful, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and by the way, if you're not following me on social media, please do. I'm gonna link it here somewhere. That is probably the easiest way for me to interact with you guys. Also, there's a little notification bell here somewhere. Hit that if you want to be notified whenever I upload videos. But again, thank you for watching. Like this video, subscribe if you're not already, but I'll see you guys on the next one.